Let me create a banner, I guess. Can I
Shit.
edit? Yeah?
We're recording it. I'll wait. This is a good piece of trivia. Oh, we're on. We're live. We can do it.
We haven't started the podcast yet, though.
Okay.
Alfred Hitchcock Presents 107 down. Boom. Boom. I did it.
Yay.
I did the thing.
Yay.
Yay. The crowd went wild.
Yay.
My girlfriend walked in as I was watching the last 5 minutes of Meaning of Life. Like, what are you watching? I was like, it's Monty. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Just forget it.
It's gonna be so hard for me to explain. So just say I'm watching porn and just call it.
There you go. Pornography. I was watching pornography.
Yeah. The three guys were really going at her.
Yeah.
So much fun. And then
The most awful porn you can imagine.
Oh, filthy.
Oh, disgusting.
Oh, sexy.
You like that? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I barely do.
That porno laugh. The guy was.
Is it a porno laugh?
I think that's a porno laugh. I think I've
What
heard
kind
that.
of porn are you watching?
I'll
Well,
want to laugh all over your lower back.
I don't watch just straight up porn. I like the
You just say you don't watch straight porn?
Yeah, it's that. All I watch is gay porn. That's all I know. That's all I watch.
Cool.
That's all I have time for.
We in high school, my friend, she's a female, and her dad had 2 cabinets of porn tapes that he recorded off TV, and she did not want us to know about. So of course we found them right
Of
away.
course, yeah.
And we pulled out and started watching, and it's just 90s porn and 80s porn and all this, and all of a sudden it cuts to gay porn for a few minutes, and we're like,
oh,
it was VHS days. He purposely went out of his way to record this and hid it in the middle of the tape. And then it goes back to straight porn after that. And we're like, had a long debate there about, was that him hiding?
It's the part where you get on the phone and call Peter Falk, and he comes over, and you're trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
He's not ashamed of having porn because he has 2 cabinets full of it. So
you of course went deeper and watched all the tapes to see if this was all the tapes.
no, we didn't do one of those VHS movies, which we couldn't end up watching, which sucks. But I just compiled the list. I have such a long list, and we're starting the podcast right now, by the way.
That's fine. This is a good padding story.
But I have such a long list of 61 shows here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically 70 shows. And how many movies are there right now? 61 movies. So we got quite a list. I've been collecting over the last couple of weeks here.
Did you get Westinghouse Desilu Playhouse?
I did not. I
That's
didn't go that crazy.
1958 to 1960. Joseph Cotton was in one of them.
I know, that's why I saw it earlier. But I don't like Arnaz, so I don't want to watch it. I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like Cubans either.
No, they're disgusting creatures. I can't even watch out for Felicity because he's half of that show, and I just fucking can't do it.
Well, here, how's this? The Jane Wyman Presents the Fireside Theater, 1955 to 1958.
If you want to come up with a list of TV shows I don't have in the list, go right ahead. I will try to find them. I told Adam yesterday, or earlier today, I forget which. It was yesterday. I found all of the Freddy's Nightmares finally.
Oh, thank God. I want to watch at least one of those because they're so fucking terrible.
I have 0 memories of them.
I remember the 900 number that they would sell on every episode. Where Freddy's on an airplane, he's just like, "You're bored or scared? Call me, ah! Bitch. Call me, bitch."
Whatever happened to those? Remember George Carlin used to pitch one of them, the 800.
Oh,
Like
wow.
a number you would call to get free long distance.
Oh, like the 1-800 collect shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Adam.
I remember it.
The calling plans.
Yeah, I had a CD player that was covered in stickers for those.
Wow.
because they would send them out with all the fucking time. I remember
Wow.
George Carlin was pitching one of them, and he even brought it up in one of his stand-up specials.
Yeah.
He's like,
I
if you're
think I
wondering how
remember
I pitched that, and I still complain about selling out for commercials, you're gonna have to figure that shit out yourself. And that was his
Yeah,
quote.
I remember that.
But yeah, we're live. Let's go to the theme song, which is new. Nobody's heard. Adam heard a rough version of it. Here we go. New theme song for the new show name. Finally got around to doing it. Here we go. There is nothing wrong with your podcast feed, but there is something wrong with your taste of podcasts. Unfortunately, now we are in control somehow. Ow. Ah, fuck. Anyway, do not attempt to turn off the podcast. Although you're fully capable of, we just really don't want you to. Welcome to LIW Anthology Series Review. Welcome to that show I just said. I'm Phoenix West. Whoever wants to go next.
Oh, I thought we were going clockwise. Adam Wilcox.
Dick it.
I should have mentioned earlier, this is my fault. Dick likes to go last, I think, for some reason.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's fine.
Doesn't surprise me.
I accept that.
How's this?
There you go. Oh, much better.
Oh, there we go.
I feel better already.
There we go. Anyway, I'm Phoenix West. Welcome to the show. Adam was chosen last week. He chose today's episode, and his selection that the roulette wheel at the end chose was Alfred Hitchcock Presents from 55 to 62. That series specified because Alfred Hitchcock has 3 different television series, as far as I know. Because they also revamped this in the 80s from 85 to 89, and this was 55 to 62, and then right at 62, he started the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, which ran to 65. So the guy was fucking on TV just forever. The new series that came out was after his death, and a lot of them were just old episodes that he had, just redone 80s style, much like the Twilight Zone 80s, which is always bad because a remake is bad. The 1980s are the worst. So I thought about watching the breakdown from the 80s series because they also did an episode, a remake of it on that.
Who was in that episode?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't.
I'd be curious to see what 80s star they thought Joseph Cotton reminded them of.
I can look it up right now.
It's probably Mark Singer.
Ooh, that's 80s.
That's
Alex Winter.
There you go.
If Alex Winter was in it, I'd watch the shit out of it.
William Catt.
It's from December 1st, 1985. It has a 7.7. This episode that we watched has an 8.3. But it has, let's see who's in it. John Hurd, really, the McAllister dad.
Wow, that's a good choice. He kind of
Yeah.
Wait, Andy Garcia?
Andy Garcia.
Is he the guy? Is he Joseph Cotton?
That's what I'm looking to find pictures.
Or is Andy Garcia a thief because he was Hispanic?
It must be Andy Garcia in the. I have it right now. I could pull it up. Let's
Now, this has got me curious. Yeah, this is interesting.
I purposely downloaded some of these just so we could watch them right now.
Wow.
So let's find out. Let's show a screenshot real quick.
That's fascinating. John Hurt's got to be the guy. He got to be Joseph Cotton, then.
I don't think he is because I just saw him standing. The one IMDb picture is him standing there. So here we go.
It's a lot more elaborate.
Yeah, there's a lot more preamble to this, isn't there? Andy Garcia looks like fucking Al Pacino and Carlito.
He does.
Wow.
Carlito, I can't feel my fucking legs, man.
Yeah, this is. Oh, I guess it is. No, it's not Carlito. I guess he fired Carlito.
It is John Hurt.
Oh,
yeah, there he is.
And that's John
Hurt.
Yeah, there you go. That makes more sense then.
What the shit? We need to watch this now.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
If I end up picking, because it's my week to pick. If I end up getting Alfred Hitchcock Presents 85, I'm choosing Breakdown. Yeah. We can watch it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would kind of prefer that just to compare and contrast.
Yeah, because that's what we're doing here. We're trying to figure out what these shows are like.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's a good barometer there. But
So I
Adam,
get, yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I guess Andy Garcia is the guy that Joseph Cotton fired in the original series.
It
I mean, I
seems
guess that's going to be the case then.
the difference is in this episode that we watched today from 55, he fires them and they set up the character in the first 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's real quick. Yeah.
Well, that's how it should be. We don't need to watch that because
No.
what we're just looking at there felt like it took up 2/3 of the episode.
Well, then how long is the 80s Hitchcock? Is that an hour long?
No, same length.
Oh, is it really? Wow, that's curious.
Well, the reason they called it the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, the second show he did, because he went to an hour long. So
yeah, I understand.
I don't think there's a breakdown for that one. Not that I see. Nothing there. But Adam chose the episode, and he did hint during our commentary episode that there's some reasoning behind that. I'm just curious. What
I would love to tell you guys how I arrived at this episode. Well, for one, just to bring it personally, I have a very acute sense of claustrophobia. And one of the worst things I think you could possibly have is no control over your situation. Like anything that involves no control over my situation, it accelerates my anxiety to fucking just epic proportions where I'm just completely freaking the fuck out. I go into crowds of people. If I can't extend my arms a certain length, if I can't breathe, I start feeling like I'm being smothered and I get short of breath and stuff like that. So I've had nightmares, a lot of nightmares where I can't move my hands and I can't speak. And people think I'm dead. And I hate to say that I've had nightmares like that. Those are the absolute worst ones. Always. Those are the ones where I'm waking up in cold sweat and like, what the fuck did I eat? What is wrong with me? I need to change my medication, whatever. All right. So also, there was a similar situation on my dad's side of the family. They had a friend of the family who actually experienced this in real life. A lady that was a friend of my dad's mom got into a car accident and was in a coma. All right. And they thought that she was dead. Or they were going to pronounce her dead. And what brought her out of the coma was somebody called her an old lady. And it pissed her off so much that she came out of the coma. So that's a true fucking story. So the way I arrived at this episode is the only parameters that were given to me was that you need to pick any episode between this time and that time. So I'm like, okay.
Oh.
I started looking at the lists, and then I'm here in Illinois temporarily at the time of this recording. I'm here with all my family. So my parents have seen a lot more episodes of this show than I have. I remember seeing a couple of them in rerun form, but they remember seeing them when they came out. So I started going down a list, and I said, oh, here's one with Joseph Cotton. And the reason I say Joseph Cotton is one of my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movies is Shadow of a Doubt. And in that movie, Joseph Cotton plays an uncle who's also a serial killer, and the only one that knows he's a serial killer is his niece, okay, who he's staying with. It's a great fucking movie, 1934, Shadow of a Doubt. You should check it out. I'm not spoiling anything by telling you that because it's one of those where they set that up right the fuck away, and the rest of it is the tension between who knows and who doesn't know. So Joseph Cotton is a fantastic actor. He was in Citizen Kane. He was in The Third Man. He was in Shadow of a Doubt. So that already sparked my interest. So they said, oh, yeah, that's a really good one. I'm like, okay, let me judge. Let me fucking watch it. And I sat and I watched it. And I liked it so much that I didn't find any reason to explore any further after that. Of course, this all happened like the day after I was given the assignment. So everybody's like, did you just give up being lazy, looking for an episode and arrive at this? I'm like, no, it's good enough that I didn't have to go any further.
I mean, you found one that caught your interest. That's all we're looking for. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I enjoyed every minute of it. You mentioned camera angles, the one where they're looking through the
shadow window.
Yeah, the shadow window. The other shot I really liked was when he's actually on the gurney and they're looking straight up. You kind of see the lights going, that way. I always like shots like that. So,
well, I don't want to bring it up because
you want to get to that point? Go ahead. Yeah, take over.
But just watch the movie Seconds. If you like that, go watch the movie second.
Oh yeah, this has absolutely been done time and time again.
No, this is 10 years before, 9 years before.
Well, we were talking a little bit about how this reminds us of scenes from Kill Bill. You know, I mean, you know, when Beatrix is in a coma and you know she can't move and people are saying things. I just think that is the absolute most terrifying shit that could happen to you, is just not be in control of your situation like that and be conscious.
That was one of the first things I said during our commentary was, this is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And I kind of drew comparisons to a really not a great episode, but a fine episode of Nightmares and Dreamscapes from Stephen King in 2006. I forget who's in it because I haven't watched it in a few years, but it's kind of similar where he's in the morgue. The whole thing is he's in the morgue and he's just waiting, like same thing where he has the, you know, modulated voiceover and he's talking.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as effective as this episode, not even close.
Can we say too that the pacing of this episode is absolutely perfect? Like the tension just keeps building.
Well,
I guess where we bored. Yeah,
it won the editing Emmy for best editing of television.
For 25 minutes, this one really told the hell out of this.
Oh
story.
yeah,
it still kept you suspended. Like just.
I can't see movies like this anymore. Like this is on TV. Like he just shows you how awful movies are now. They're all shot the same way. They all have that formulaic, well, we gotta get the coverage. Like, no, you don't need coverage. Just get the shot that you need for the story and shut the fuck up and shoot it. But no, we need coverage. You need safety. So we can make it look like every Marvel movie that comes out.
I was going to say, do you think movies need to be 2.5 hours all the time, or can you pretty much go back to 90-minute movies and get your fucking point across?
It depends on the movie. Yeah,
Avengers Endgame could not be 90 minutes.
No. It could be 10 minutes long. I'd be fine with that walk out, but
it was a short. And
if it was the last 20 minutes of the movie, I'd be fine with that. I think that's enough. It's
that
like,
would make 40 minutes though, because there's 20 minutes of credits in a Marvel movie now.
Well, I don't watch the credits. That's okay. I walk out.
I'm just saying.
I don't need to see the 25,000 slavers.
But Dick, that's
Korea.
the most important part of the movie. You have to watch the post credits to tease up and other fucking movies that are coming out.
Half of those are so bad and not connected to the stories at all. They're terrible.
I want to see which Indonesian people were chained to their desks with a suicide net outside.
Just like Korea.
Yeah. I want to see.
You are part of a chain of a wonderful product that is called the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Can I mention another thing that I like too while I was watching it is, you know, we watch so many of these episodes, we start looking for things to pick at, like, oh, this is really good. There's going to be something fucked up because we've seen some really bad shit on this show, right? So things that I start asking myself, it's almost like the episode is listening to me and immediately answers that. Like, why don't they hold a mirror in front of his face? Why don't they just check my pulse? I'm like, these are things that I'm mentioning. I'm like, and then I was like, are these people really that dumb? Yes, they are, you know, but they're still smart enough to use the key to unlock the trunk. I didn't have that such luck when my car was stolen. Some idiot pried my trunk open with a crowbar instead of taking the key that said trunk on it, big fucking letters.
Well, you didn't have the foresight to, you know, halfway die in your car in the driveway.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I should have. Maybe that's what I was missing out on.
That was the difference. That made all the difference in the world.
This is me making a butt chin out of my chin.
So I have to give credit. This was a ethnic diverse cast.
Yeah.
Only one of the two black men was severely racially written.
Well, they're all criminals, and one of them was the more nicer criminal than the other guy.
The second guy, the one I thought was from Night of the Living Dead, is from the Manchurian Candidate.
Oh, there you go.
Obligatory John Frankenheimer reference.
Wow, that's so sad.
I also brought up Seconds earlier, so
that's true. You did.
You did in there.
Yeah.
You had to.
Johnny Frankenheimer alive and well on this podcast and nowhere else.
He's also in The Killing with Stanley Kubrick. So.
There you go.
Dude works with some fucking Class A directors.
Well, for what's his IMDb? Is that as far as it goes, like 1952 or 1952 to 62, and he stopped working after that?
He also worked on Patton, so he worked with Franklin J. Schaffner.
Oh my God!
Director of such classics as Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I love Patton.
He died at 51.
There you go.
1970.
Yeah, see? Shit.
Yeah, it's going off what Adam said a minute ago there, the pacing, and you're saying he won a what for directing? Or
No,
for editing?
it won best editing for the Emmys.
That's crazy because
Yeah.
a lot of the episode, and I agree that it should have won, but it's weird because it felt like he got away with something because a lot of it was just a still photograph that they kind
Exposition.
of made
Actually, I don't think it was still photographed though, because I was watching that close to see if it was a still photograph, if they cheated. His eyes are glistening the whole fucking time. He's holding still. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you go back and watch it, and I thought that too. Yeah.
I know the frame was moving. I just thought they did that to make it look like
no,
video.
his eyes are glistening, and I think that was the key. Is they shot it in such a way to where they really focused on the light in his eyes to show you that he's still alive and not dead and glazed over. So
Dick could do it. He stands
I could
still.
do it. I've done it.
He could also paint himself silver and stand inside of Hollywood Boulevard on a box.
you're not going to tell us that you choke yourself while you're masturbating, are you? Because I don't,
No, I don't do that. I just hit myself with old bread slices.
Oh, you sit like those old people and just whip their back while you're.
I'm so dirty. I'm so dirty.
So dirty.
The legend continues.
Shame. Shame.
Oh yes, so good. Oh, so good.
Oh, I'm done. Okay, I gotta wash my hands now.
Kung Fu, the Dick continues to masturbate while choking himself.
Hitch my cock mysteries.
There's so many rooms for jokes in there too. I was thinking that I'm like, we could totally joke the fuck out of this. At one point, I could have said while he's driving, like, rolling in my 6'4", swing down, sweet chariot, stop and let me ride.
Again, though, you got to realize he kind of drove into that cop or prison guard because why? He wanted to just turn. He wanted to get home faster.
Was unintentionally funny. I laughed.
Yeah, I laughed.
He drove into a chain gang. He had his accident happens when the slowest vehicle you could possibly think of runs into his fucking convertible somehow in front of a chain gang and propels him into the chain gang.
And it's his fault.
I've ever seen. Yeah.
But it's his fault too. So he killed the prison guard and he allowed these prisoners to go free. So isn't he culpable for that? Is he going to go to prison now?
Well, I don't know. They might have changed the story. Yeah.
Let's put a pause there. Let's quickly go over our personal ratings and stuff, and then we'll get into the plot and break that down because there's some weird shit at the beginning. What Dick was getting to. He's gonna sneeze.
No.
Okay. You have some French bread today, some Italian bread. He had some Italian bread. I know he did. And some wine.
No wine today.
Okay. But Dick, what do you think about the episode overall, without giving any spoilers out?
Oh, it's solid. I'd say a 9. It's almost a perfect episode of a show that you would want to watch. I'd say maybe even a 9.5. Like honestly, yeah, it's up there. I don't want to give it a 10 out of 10 because it's it's just it's dated, but it's pretty damn solid. It's pretty good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I would agree. I would give it the same score you did. I'm gonna go with a 9.
Yeah.
And that's not any fault or anything. It's just for me, it was missing one more thing going on in the episode to really solidify it as a 10. Yesterday, I gave a 10 to Jeopardy Room. And that was because that hit like my personal preference of an episode. That's what I like. There was enough going on where it was one thing, and it was fine, and I loved it. I just wanted one little extra thing. I don't know what that would be. This is me being ridiculous, I know, but that's the only reason I gave it a 9. And a 9's a great score. Don't get me wrong. I never give out 9s or 10s, really.
Yeah,
but, fucking solid episode. This it makes me nervous to choose mine because I was telling Adam, I don't know if I'm going to choose a good one, like one I believe is going to be great, or one that's going to be stupid. Because I have both sides. I have both sides in me, and I love both sides, and it's going to be tough. But yeah, 9. Adam, you chose it. What do you think?
I would also give it a 9, and I think what you said was missing, and I've thought about this in great detail over the week. Like, what keeps this from being a 10? Because it's like it was solid enough. I'm like, guys, you need to check out this episode. It's fucking great. Because I watched it before I even chose it. I'm like, this is great. We need to talk about this. I think what it's missing is he should have gotten all the way to the morgue. You know what I mean? Like been put on the table, being prepped to be cut open. I think that would have made, maybe they couldn't get away with that in 1955, which is why it didn't go that far. Maybe they didn't have the budget to get him into a morgue. I think if you would have taken it just a step farther, because this guy does not deserve a second chance. He's an asshole. That's what's been set up, you know, and it's kind of like he conveniently gets out of it because maybe it would be too ghoulish to have him actually be killed on the table, you know, but part of it is the suspense. It's the journey getting there. It's like, how far is this going to go? You know, and it gets pretty creepy when they show that sign and he's at the morgue. I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well for this guy.
And that's a perfect thing for you to bring up, though, is the morality of this guy. And that I think a good thing to have is strangely what the Nightmare and Dreamscapes episode had, which was his significant other trying to get like another character to bounce this emotion off of trying to get them to check out this body. Something where someone saw something and they're trying to get, it could have been the guy that pulled his body out and was like, hey, get in over here, he's alive, and the other guy going, no, he's not alive. Some sort of conflict there with another character would have enhanced this a little bit.
Yeah, somebody that was set up in the beginning, like actually saved him. That would have meant maybe would have been the perfect, would have given it the perfect score.
Yeah, just a little bit more conflict because it's a really great tense scene. Obviously, Hitchcock is good at this. Tarantino has taken over with that sense. He's great at creating tension. He's good at stretching out a simple idea and stretching it out to its maximum without the rubber band snapping back on you. And it felt like this just needed a sprinkle of something else. It could have been something as simple as a couple lines of the one guy did see the fingers thumping on the steering wheel, and he's like, "Wait, I just saw a thing," and the other guy's like, "No, fucking get it. Let's just get out of here."
No,
yeah, something like that where you're like, "Oh, it just was missing that, like, oh, he's gonna get sick. Oh no, oh."
The first thing I was thinking of is when he finally got to the morgue and he's tapping his fingers. I'm thinking if he taps his fingers on a gurney with a cushion underneath of it, it's not going to make any noise. They took it a step further. They actually surprised me with that. I'm like, they laid him on top of his hand so that he can't tap his finger because that's literally the only fucking thing that can move.
Okay, exactly. So at this point, let's get into the actual plot.
Yeah.
Obviously, we already talked about it for the most part, but let's set it go back to the very beginning there. I love the credits. I love the music of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It's fucking classic. And it's got the silhouette, or it's like a doodle of his outline.
Caricature, yeah.
And he's just, it cuts to him talking to the camera, and he is honestly probably one of the ugliest men in history.
Yes.
He sounds
Billy Joel, yeah.
He's so British, and he's talking to like a gravestones in his mouth, and he sounds like the drunkest human in history. Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
I like blonde women who don't like me back.
I like to throw birds at Tippi Hedren.
Did you ever see that HBO movie, The Girl, which was Toby Jones as Alfred Hitchcock, and that bitch was Tippi Hedren, the girl from Factory Girl. She was an American Sniper. Who's that girl?
French girl?
She's French. Shit, I forgot her name.
Isn't Factory Girl French?
She might be. Like she was a Factory Girl. I can't remember. I could look her up, I guess.
Hitchcock with Anthony Hopkins. I didn't bother.
Well, that was a good one too. But no, this was HBO one. This was pretty good. But I just watched it in Spanish, and the best part is when Toby Jones is cornering Tippi Hedren, and he goes in the version, English version, he goes, "Touch me," and then in the Mexican version, he goes, "Besame." I was like, "Oh, these are great. I love this." So
that's another nightmare.
Oh man. That was good. That was a good movie.
Toby Jones, the guy you get to come in when you want him to play a historical figure.
Yeah.
Capote. His version was not that great.
I
Close
could
to
do
off the
everything.
fucking water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to compete against that guy, but
Yeah. And that was the
Yeah.
same year, too.
yeah,
That was
well,
like the same. I remember working at the theater and those two movies were coming out together.
Toby Jones, his one was just.
Can we talk about Alfred's opening monologue? Because it's like I hadn't seen this show for a really long time. We watched The Crypt Keeper, and we like, for the most part, the monologue on The Crypt Keeper. But there always gets to that point where it's cringe. There's always cringe with The Crypt Keeper. Always. This one, I felt no cringe because I thought it was just enough, but not too much.
And going off what you're just saying is the Crypt Keeper is campy and he's punny, and that doesn't work 25, 30 years later. Alfred Hitchcock is from 1955, and he has such a dry sense of humor that it still carries over. That shit works now, and it's still funny. I was laughing at him, not hilariously.
No, it's just clever things he was saying, like, I like to read a good mystery. Keeps my mind off my work. That's fucking great.
The same as Shaun of the Dead. None of the jokes are going to date in 20 years. I could show it to my kids, and they're going to laugh if they're old enough and smart enough, and I don't beat them enough. They're going to laugh at that shit. But if they watch The Crypt Keeper, they're like, oh, he's making a lot of puns. This isn't funny.
We like this show, Daddy. You're dumb.
The Crypt Keeper is basically throwing you a lot of dad jokes, just constant, nonstop dad jokes, right and left. And
not in the first season, just in the next, the subsequent season.
The first season, they still tried to keep him scary, and they didn't have so much of him. But after a while, it's like the series. That's why people remember it so well. Became the Crypt Keeper series, and the show was like an afterthought.
You know what really made me sad though about that opening and his monologue was he was talking about people reading books. It just made me sad because we live in a world where no one reads books anymore.
Some people still read books. Yeah.
I mean, not like the old days.
This was all books, and I got a whole book up there. I don't read as much as I want to. I'll say that. But there's still people that read.
Yeah.
Not enough. Not enough. The wrong people are reading. The people who don't read anymore are reading.
Yeah.
Your audiobooks don't fucking count, so don't even try out that shit.
They count for like a murder mystery book. You don't really need to read that fucking
It counts for something that you have to read over a weekend and you don't have time, so you go audiobooks. But I think some people have just kind of gotten a little too caught up in audiobooks, and they call that reading. It's not.
Like if I listened to the audiobook of an Aldous Huxley book, I would not get everything I got out of reading it. Like I love his books, and listening to an audiobook of some dry British guy reading it, I would get nothing out of it. You have to experience it. Part of it is just the timing wise, is you have to invest enough time to actually understand. You're kind of, because you're thinking about it and you're not reading it. You need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Not enough people are reading, but Alfred Hitchcock had a great intro. It did not feel dated. It was still holds up. He's dry. Dry sarcasm is obviously is perfect for me.
Yeah.
And it holds up today. The Crypt Keeper is fucking terrible. And people remember that for some fucking reason. That's what they want. They want to remember the shitty puns. In the first season, it felt like he was trying to do a good representation of EC Comics and Alfred Hitchcock. It felt like great there. And then they lost it.
Yeah.
Just lost it.
Well, that was the note. That was the studio note. He's got to be more funny.
The kids are scared.
He's got to be funny. It's got to be a fun show. It's comic.
The kids like the creepy Muppet.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how good the show would be? Like how much better it would be if it would drop the pretend comedy aspect of it, like remember that all the musical.
Well, not only that, but how many episodes did we watch where the opening has nothing to do? That's the other thing I appreciate about this opening. He's setting up what we're about to see, and it's also funny because here's Alfred Hitchcock, who before this episode, before the show even got started, had several hit movies out. The guy specializes in mystery. He's talking about, I like to read mysteries. It keeps me mind off me work.
he was already in his fourth decade of directing.
Yeah. He was in his second renaissance. Yeah.
20s, 30s, 40s, and then 50s. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
The guy was born in 1890, 1880. I could look it up, obviously, but I'm not going to. But and you think he died in 1980, so he must have been born.
Can you imagine if M. Night Shyamalan would have actually been the Alfred Hitchcock that Time Magazine thought he would be, and instead of being the one-trick pony he was, and just now was starting a TV show where he was reading puns and introducing an episode? It would be unheard of. Like, now we can't even grasp that concept because we don't have directors like that. We just don't.
M. Night has done 2 TV shows as far as I know. His first one I was super into, called Wayward Pines, ironically starring Toby Jones, or not starring, but he's one of the lead. Or he's like 4th or 5th lead. And I loved the first 5 episodes. I was like, this is a great mystery. And the 6th episode came out, and they go, "This is what's happening." I go, "Oh, you blew your wad. I don't care now." And then
that's right here.
Season and a half, and I sat there and watched it because I liked the first 5 episodes so much that I was angry with myself. And then his new show, Servant, with Apple TV, I have not watched, but I want to. But it looks like The Boy.
Well, he was supposed to do a Tales from the Crypt show.
He was supposed to do a lot, but people see the name and they
didn't go where people thought he would. Yeah, he kind of.
I remember the trailer.
Yeah,
I think it was going to be on TNT. It was going to be a Tales from the Crypt anthology series, executive produced by M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, how much better would The Visit be as an episode of a new Tales from the Crypt?
Oh, it'd be so much better.
Yeah, the movie's
way
fine.
better. Yeah,
I like the movie. Strangely enough, because it, in a bad way, by the way, it's like a movie done with M. Night. He rubs his shitty diaper in his child's face.
That's comedy. That's comedy.
He became his own trope.
Yeah.
The movie's hilarious.
Okay, Crypt Keeper, he became a trope because he was just reading shit and doing puns and getting really stupid with the fucking puns. He became a trope. M. Night Shyamalan became a trope because it's like, there's going to be a twist. There's going to be a twist. There has to be a twist, and that's all I got. All right. No. Alfred Hitchcock didn't need a gimmick. You know what I mean? It's like he already had all this stuff. You know what I mean? He didn't have to just take one gimmick and nail it. That's why he's Alfred Hitchcock. That's why there hasn't been another Alfred Hitchcock.
He on his presenting portion. Eventually, we get to the actual episode. His presenting portion is it's all of us because it's worth merit because it's our first time talking about it.
Oh, absolutely.
His presenting the episode is awesome. It's not great, but it's solid and it sets it up, and you get his charm and it works. He's the prototype Rod Serling. Yeah. Obviously, there were some people that did before that, but it was always, "Hello, welcome to," and it was so fucking like instructional.
Welcome to Masterpiece Theater,
or Suspense, or Tales from Tomorrow, or something like that. It felt very like an industrial film. Speaking of SAG, it felt like it was just. I'm scientist man. Here's the episode. Here's why we're talking about it. And it felt so blank, like your history teacher just talking about setting up the episode. Alfred Hitchcock came out and was like, it was different. Like, we're looking at it now as dated and old, but back then this was fucking new. And you're like, there's Alfred. That's the guy that directed that movie. That's unheard of to see that guy on TV. This is back in the days. I mean, this is only recent that TV and movie people are, working back and forth. So this was a film guy showing up on your TV every week. That's fucking crazy. Can you imagine that happening? Like, I can't imagine like Christopher Nolan showing up on a TV show every week. I can't imagine
he might have to now because he might need work.
He's like the tour guide for his own mind. He's like, "Welcome to my thought process." I love that. Yeah.
But he was never obviously a writer. He's not known as a writer. He's a director. And he creates these great suspenseful moments, and that's what he's known for. And then it set up Rod Serling to take over like writing, and then he created a whole generation of people, even if they didn't realize it at that time. It's like the fucking Beatles, really. And then we went from there. And so watching him, I'm sitting there, all I can think about is Rod Serling, and I'm like, because obviously I'm in the Twilight Zone, so I'm watching it going, this is clearly like the tennis setup, and then Rod Serling came over and just knocked the fucking ball on the other side. Yeah.
He's had some good ones too. It's Rod Serling. Like we've talked about that. Some of his monologues are good. Some of it's he's phoning it in. Especially towards the end. We've addressed that.
I'm sure Hitchcock does too, but yeah,
I kind of that was another part that I wanted to do the first season because I wanted to do this show, an episode of this show when it was fresh and new to audiences.
Yeah, and he even mentions that in the prologue. It was weird. Sorry, it was in the epilogue. Not that it was new, but he's like, I can't handle like. Now you know what it's like to be like me, where people might tune you out, just turn off the television. It's like, damn,
it's clever.
Yeah, it made me laugh, and nothing the Crypt Keeper said has made me actually laugh.
No, nor wanted to turn back for more episodes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the worst crime of all. But let's actually get into the episode.
Yeah,
it's really simple, so it won't take us long. Does anybody want to take over and just go? Adam, you chose it.
I would love to. Joseph Cotton is a rich guy. We don't really know exactly what he does. I guess he's in some kind of advertising bid or something. Because back then, I think we talked about this. Advertising execs were always the devil. Okay, so business, yeah, some kind of business mogul. He's in Florida. We open up and it looks like Florida, city on the move, and then we see him sitting out there in his bathrobe. It looks like that scene from Goldeneye where he's sitting out on the porch. He's surrounded by his entourage. He's dictating and sipping a fucking drink. And then all of a sudden somebody calls in the middle of his half-ass little monologue dictation thing. It says, yeah, so-and-so's on the phone. And then we cut to Bookworm guy. He's got like a folded up letter. And he's like, yeah, did you get my note? He's like, yeah. And to make a long story short, he was fired. Okay. And the guy is just not grasping the concept that he's been let go. He can't even call and verbally fire his people. He has to do it via note. Okay, it's like, did you get the memo? So, and then the next, he's like breaking down to the point to where he finally hangs up on him. Okay, and then finally, he says, "Well, I can't believe the guy. He was actually crying. That's just a sign of weakness." So Joseph Cotton is also an a-hole, all right, a heartless asshole. And the very next scene, he's talking about going marlin fishing, So next thing that happens, he's driving, apparently to go fishing. We're not really sure. It's not really important, but he's driving. And then as we mentioned earlier, he has a very unfortunate accident with the slowest moving vehicle known to man and drives into a chain gang. And it's comically edited. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I kind of laughed. Maybe it's just the time, the date, or whatever. The rest of the
Twilight Zone did the same thing. Where
Twilight Zone's done a similar thing. Okay, yeah, one of those hard cuts. I mean, obviously, yeah. So you can, TV budget, you can only afford so much. But it's funny how they kind of show the chain gang, and then they're just like, and cut. The rest of the episode is Joseph Cotton narrating. Completely frozen, catatonic, can't fucking move, and people are looting him, robbing him, taking the wheels off of his car, taking his clothes, and it is absolutely nerve-wracking because he can't move, he can't speak, he's just got this glassy look, and we were trying to figure out, and I was glad you mentioned that, we were trying to figure out if he was, if it was a still image. But I can see the glisten in his eyes so I guarantee 100%. And you can almost kind of see his eyelid moving just a little bit. So Joseph Cotton was holding still for all of these scenes. And
he was much better at holding still than Anthony Edwards at the end of
PR.
Yeah. At the end of The Departed. He gets shot, he's sitting there breathing. I'm like, dude, Scorsese, come on, dude. You know how to edit that around that.
How did Scorsese not catch that? But yeah, it's him constantly trying to talk to people who are not going to hear him, and it's everybody's worst nightmare. It's just not be in control.
I just read Stephen King is part of the IMDb trivia. Stephen King said his short story Autopsy Room 4 was inspired by this. So I was right.
Nice.
It is very similar.
Yeah, this is something that has been done many times, but I think this was done extremely well. We were talking about really well set up shots.
Pacing.
Nerve-wracking, yeah.
Pacing for a mystery episode is everything. It trumps dialogue, characters, it trumps everything. Pacing. You can get over shitty characters as long as it's paced well because you're not with them that much.
And you made the comment first, and I'll go ahead and bring that back again. You said like probably about 5 minutes after the accident, this is terrifying. This, and we've watched straight up horror on this show before. This is actually one of the most terrifying things I've seen.
Well, it's a real human fear of being buried alive. That's Most people have fear.
It's not supernatural. It is something that could absolutely happen.
Buried alive. That's it. It's simple, but you're like, what the fuck do I do? It's not like that shitty Ryan Reynolds movie Buried, where he makes phone calls and shit. Like, Dick, do your impression of Joseph Cotton in this movie. There we go. That's what he does.
I can't move. I can't do anything. Oh, somebody will see me, and somebody will find me the next day.
And you get this is what you're looking at for most of the episode from Joseph Cotton, but his dialogue, he does a really good job, a serviceable job, because you can't like blow me away with your voiceover, but he does a really good job, serviceable job of just keeping you invested. Of like the character's not going, please, he's not screaming like the Twilight Zone. Way too much screaming in that show.
It's the combination of the dialogue and some really well done camera work here that carries us along. And it's just
camera moves around plenty enough.
And I left out one detail. He is able to tap his pinky finger.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually.
At first, it's just him with the steering wheel right under his butt chin.
Looks real uncomfortable.
They're like, what do I do? And you could tell he's just like, he's a person that wants to scream out loud, but he can't. And you see that in his eyes. And that he carries that out so well with like, you just picture, like Mr. Science.
I imagine for 1955, this would actually be pretty terrifying. For 25 minutes of Joseph Cotton just going,
it fucking worked now. It worked.
Yeah, this is after fucking Citizen Kane, So I mean, people know who this guy is.
It worked 65 years later here right now, and it still fucking worked. Yeah. This is 65 years old. That's fucking crazy, and it still was. My first thought was, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
No.
And I wasn't going this. It doesn't look dated. It didn't feel dated.
Nope, not at all.
When the black guy showed up, it felt a little.
The 80s show, what we saw just in the stills looked dated.
Yeah. Well,
this,
the 80s,
especially.
Yeah, the 80s is so dated, you can't really do anything that.
What is it? You would probably know. Both you guys would know this more than me. What is it with 80s shows and lighting? Why was it always so bad?
It started with the 70s. The 70s had that super deep lighting, but they used film where the reds looked like fucking not blood, but it's so deep. Like Night Gallery was 70s, and it looks so deep. But 80s, it was the same lighting. They just went to video.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
The parts that you showed me, the stills, it looked like something from a TV soap opera made in the 80s. And I noticed that everything, all the shows, TV shows that came out in the 80s, none of them ever looked like movies.
Yeah.
No, it's the so 55, we watched this. That was shot on film, and they shoot it like a movie pretty much. They were quick, obviously. But in the 80s, they're shooting on videotape a lot of the time. Even if they shoot on film, they're shooting with TV production people. So it's going to look shitty no matter what.
Okay.
And it looks terrible. And so the 80s music and movies and TV shows look more dated than anything else. I can't think of any other decade that was worse for dating.
1990s.
No, the 90s look better. Unless it was shot on
okay.
Straight to video. Yeah.
The aughts millennial, like the 2001 to 2007 movies.
But are you going? 2001. Are you? No, you're
because Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in it.
And if it's 2001, that means that every movie is going to have really shitty CG, just because that's the big thing right now.
And Clara Forlani.
Yeah. But some 41s in the soundtrack.
Yeah, so exactly.
You're pretty hype. So
super. Oh god, another the late 90s, early aughts. You're guaranteed a Smash Mouth hit.
Oh god,
what an era!
Only if Mike Myers is in it.
Yeah, oh god.
But so he's trapped in the car. A couple of guys come up and rob him, wheels off the car, and steal his suitcases. They run off. And then two of the chain gang guys come up because I was like, where the fuck are the chain gang guys? Because he crashes the car into the back of that truck, and the chain gang like.
Again, a question that you had, because I was glad that you asked that, because I'm like, I thought that too. I'm like, did they just forget about the chain? Oh, nope, there they are.
Yeah, and then
things are set up and paid off. Yeah,
two guys come up, and they were actually like, sorry, I'm starting 5 different sentences, I know, but they look like they're gonna help the guy, and the black dude's like, all right, let's get the guy down, let's check his pulse, we'll do a mirror and next to his breath and see if he's breathing. That's a good trick. And the white guy's like, oh no, we're stealing his fucking clothes.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get far without his clothes. And the guy's like, okay, yeah, we'll do that instead.
Like a real quick turnaround of morality.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're chain gang guys. I forgot. So
that's right. We're bad guys. Shit, I read the cue cards wrong.
But as you're watching it, they do such a good job of pacing. Pacing's a 10 in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's Joseph Cotton in the same time that you're realizing it, going, oh, they're gonna help me now. They're stealing my fucking clothes. They're just stealing my clothes, motherfuckers.
God damn it! Not again.
Yeah.
And it's perfect because, like what Adam said in the beginning of the episode, every time you have a thought, they're about to say it.
Yeah.
They're about to take that away from you. And that's always a good feeling. Not when you're like left with 5 different questions. Like, where the fuck?
Yeah. How many episodes of this show have we watched where we're just kind of doing one of these? I have questions. Lots of questions.
Point number 1 for that is that really terrible Tales from the Crypt episode. Something in the Night. What was that episode where the guy goes in the hotel room and sees ghosts and visions, and we thought he was a vampire, and we thought they were a vampire? What the fuck was that?
It's a barrage of images with no descriptions.
It was, let's see here, Horror in the Night.
Ooh.
HORROR in the night. It was terrible, but you're left with so many questions that you couldn't. By the end, if they revealed all the answers, even by the end, you still would not be satisfied. You'd be like, "Oh, fuck you!"
Yeah, if they would have had a notebook with everything written out for us, we would have still been throwing stuff going, "Oh, fuck you!" None of that was in there. You know,
it's David Lynch releasing his 1 through 10 list of how to enjoy Mulholland Drive, and you're like, "Oh, I already didn't enjoy that. How am I going to enjoy it now with your list?"
I bet you David Lynch loved Tales from the Crypt.
It was a great show. Fuck you.
Yeah, you don't understand. I died to death.
I'm going to do it.
A lot of shit on my show.
I don't give a shit what you think. I'm a transcendental transcendental, oh God, what's it called? Meditation, that's right. I meditate. Fuck you.
I've achieved a higher level of chi than you, and that's why I wrote my 3rd season of Twin Peaks, where nothing makes any fucking sense.
And I interrogate a monkey in a new Netflix special. Fucking asshole.
If you ever want to hate David Lynch, if you think you love David Lynch, search this in YouTube. David Lynch Rabbits.
David Lynch Rabbits. I think I've seen that. You
will watch the most nonsensical thing, and you never will make sense of it, because if you're trying that hard, it's like being in a relationship. If I'm like, why is she doing this? And you really think about it all fucking day, by the end of the day, you'll still have an answer. You're going, okay, it doesn't matter. It's over.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if it doesn't make sense after I thought about it for a fucking day, I don't care about your career, David Lynch. Everything you make is nonsense. I like Lost Highway.
Call me.
And I like, what's weird is, sorry, we'll get back to the Alfred Hitchcock show, but I watched Twin Peaks, both seasons, and then I watched his movie, 92, that he made, the Fire Walk With Me. And I went, it was okay. My first time watching it, I was like, it's okay. And then I watched the deleted scenes he just did in 2016, 2017, where it's like Fire Walk With Me and the deleted scenes, and it's 90 minutes of just deleted scenes. I go, this is fucking good.
Huh.
The deleted scenes are fucking good.
So they cut all the best stuff out.
He cut everything I liked was in the deleted scenes. And I was like, how do you fuck that up that bad? Where I can watch a movie without a story because there's deleted scenes and I enjoyed it.
That's what
The man has no compass, no barometer when it comes to what he should.
I remember one of my friends saying when they did that third season, they're like they left on Facebook. They're like, does David Lynch even understand Twin Peaks? Does he understand his own show? Because
No. Well,
these are people that like weird things. You know,
I can do a synopsis of season 3. They bring back Kyle MacLachlan's character. He takes over the persona of some guy named Eddie in Las Vegas, who's in debt to some gambler guys, some loan sharks. And that's episodes 3 through 14.
Wow.
And then in episode 15, 16 or so, he shows back up in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I never watched the show.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is terrible.
Yeah. That's one thing I didn't watch because I always said the same thing. It's like, oh, it's so good, so artsy, but I don't know what happened.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. I'm like, you guys just don't understand. You don't understand. You're ignorant. Yeah.
What's that guy from The Crow and Twin Peaks and The Warriors? David Patrick Kelly? Is that his name?
Sounds familiar.
I think it might be. But anyway, he's great in the first 2 seasons back in the early 90s. In the new show, he's on acid walking around the woods. That's his entire character arc. And you watch him, you're sitting there like, okay, he's screaming at nothing. I love that actor. He's great in The Crow. But it's nonsense.
Who is he in The Crow?
He's the not the lead bad guy, but the lead bad guy that kills Brandon Lee's character.
Oh, the guy that was in 7?
He's duct taped in the car. I don't know if he's in 7.
Oh, no. The one duct taped to the car is the guy from The Warriors and Dreamscape.
That's what I said, yeah.
And Commando, yeah, you're right.
I'm looking on his IMDb page right now, David Lynch. There's one movie here where I'll give him credit for, and that is The Elephant.
Velvet?
The Elephant Man. Yeah.
Elephant Man's the least David Lynch movie on his list.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, maybe it's because I've seen that. It's not something I'd ever want to watch again, but I'll say, yeah, that was a good movie.
And I guess that was historically inaccurate, too.
Figures.
But
because I guess in the real life,
Titus the balls.
Well, no, my cock is huge. Fuck me, I'm an animal.
I'm a man, not an animal, but I'll fuck you like an animal.
We kept going back to Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yeah, baby. No, but I guess in the true story, the Elephant Man had total control over his career in the freak show, and that's why he was in the freak show because it made him money. So he wasn't like this. Oh, poor boy didn't know what was going on. He knew exactly what was going on because, fuck, what else are you going to do with a fucking face like that?
He exploited himself.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, why not? It made him money. He was not a dummy. He was a smart motherfucker.
You used to be a dog face boy.
You belong next to the dog face boy.
Who was more accurate? The Elephant Man or Eric Stoltz in The Mask?
Elephant Man.
Okay. There we go. There's no Cher in that movie too, so you got that going for you.
Oh God,
yummy.
I do like Lost Highway, and I do like Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
And all right, let's talk about the actual episode. Sorry,
I just want to redo a scene from Lost Highway here. Do you have a smartphone by you, Phoenix?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, call me.
Hello.
Well, does he say fuck? If I can't remember the movie, does he say fuck you or does he say hi?
He goes, hand me back my fucking
phone. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. But on the phone, he says something, doesn't he?
He says this. I murdered my wife.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's real life. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, but she was a bitch. No one liked her. It's fine.
Spicy meatball.
Sorry.
When you're
renegade in real life, I'm sorry.
When your case is built on the fact that you left the restaurant to get your gun out of the car, I think nobody gave a shit about that case.
Yeah. Where is he nowadays? Where
is
Robert?
Dead. I think he's dead.
Who, David Lynch?
I think Robert Blake is dead.
Oh, Robert Blake, yeah.
I looked that up. I think he's dead. I'm pretty sure.
He's either dead or doing time. Yeah.
No, he got off. He got acquitted.
Oh fuck.
He was acquitted.
He's still alive.
Oh my God.
He's still alive.
He's not even doing infomercials.
I wish I would watch that fucking all night long.
Watch him selling a juice weasel.
Oh my god, can you imagine that?
He got off on that murder and he's married. They're filed
Who
for
in the fuck marries a guy that killed his wife? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Let's be honest, she wasn't that great of a lady.
So Bonnie Lee Bakley, he 2001 is when they're not divorced, but when their marriage ended because of her death. 2017, 16 years later, he was married. And then,
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't do it.
Oh wow! Was acquitted on the charge of killing his wife in 2005. So,
well, that was the problem. I think the problem was they were trying to get him on murder, not hiring somebody to do the murder, and that's what cost him, because he probably hired somebody to do it, but they didn't pursue that in the case.
Fucking idiots. Anyway, Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
They loved Beretta on that jury. They loved it.
It took you exactly one episode to fuck that up, Phoenix. I'm kind of amazed.
2 episodes.
Okay.
Our second one away. We were talking about Tales from the Crypt though recently.
We were, yeah. We threw you off.
Yeah, give me some leeway. He ends up in the morgue. He's on his way. I did like that shot as well. We were talking about shots earlier. When the 2 doors for the morgue opens up.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they showed him looking up the nostrils of the guy carrying him in the morgue, and you hear like a Walmart shopping cart. This guy's
squeak wheels are squeaking.
Yeah, his gurney. He's like, "Stupid wheels, grease the wheels." And he gets in there. They open up the morgue doors, and you see the 2 doors open up, and you see it says City Morgue, and on the reflection, the shadow of the one door from the light, it reads City Morgue as well. I like that shot.
Yeah.
And you see over here, it also has like a bar, like some neon lights over there that say City Morgue. I was like, damn, this is a fancy ass morgue. What is going on here?
It's the morgue / drinking hole of the local town.
Yeah. During the day, it sells brunch. We got a fucking champagne brunch.
Just leave that body here overnight. It'll be fine. We'll take care of it in the morning. And that's what they do.
Like shit tomorrow. We're fine.
That's fine. That's fine. It ain't rotten yet.
Yeah, they're going to introduce these cultured swine to sweetbreads.
I'm kind of surprised, considering that he had no clothes on. He wasn't raped to death.
And I kind of go off what Adam says. I was thinking he's going to fall asleep, and that's what's going to kill him.
No.
And it cuts back to later, and he woke up, and he's like, I mmust have fallen asleep. I was like, all right, they addressed that issue. And here we go. I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen from here? And he's like, all right, now that I'm alone with these guys, they took the sheet off him. He's like, I can start tapping my finger on the gurney. They're going to hit. Why is my finger moving? And they show the angle, and it's his hand is tucked up under him in his asshole. Yeah. I don't know why they do that. It was like a visual exam of the body, like,
yeah,
broke his neck.
This is the greatest
great corners.
This is the great corners. This is like amazing. This is probably how corners really work in modern society.
Now, hey guys, to be fair, this is pre-CSI, so
this is their autopsy. Yeah. It looks like he broke his neck in a dry. He drove into something. Yeah, you're probably right. Shattered the column. Yeah, let's just write it up as that.
He probably broke his neck trying to suck his own cock. Yeah.
Hold on a minute. He's got tears coming out of his eyes.
Happens a lot around here.
Yeah. Let's fold him in half, see if he made it. He did not. He did not make it.
But you know what's interesting though? The fact that you had said you said the same thing. We were all thinking, oh my God, this is not going to end well for this guy. He's going to probably fall asleep and get cut open. That's how dark this episode goes. It takes you to dark places.
Right to the edge.
Right to the edge. Yeah.
And that's like, all right, he's fucked. And then he's just like, the guy sees a tear coming out because he's finally like, this is fucking it. The guy Joseph Cotton gives up. And he's like, I can't move my fingers. I'm fucked.
Hence the breakdown.
Yeah. And then
the coroners learn next time we get a guy like that, we'll just stab him in the eye and see what happens.
Well, I think Adam breakdown is a reference to the truck that was broken down. That's what caused the accident.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that's another way to look at it. Yeah. It's a double. It's a what do they call it? A double on top.
A breakdown of breakdown.
It's a breakdown again.
Breakdown.
But yeah, he starts crying, and the guy's like, "This guy's alive. Let's get him out of here. Let's get him some help." Let's get some
Because crying is a sign of weakness.
That's right. And in the beginning of the episode, he said, "I can't abide a man who cries. Such a weakness. What a weak boy, a weak man."
Ready, Adam?
There you go.
Get it.
Right out of the park. Yep.
Catch it, Adam.
Choir.
Right out of the park.
Just as much steroids as Mark McGuire.
Set up, payoff.
Yeah, it was written into it earlier. That exact line. It didn't feel like a stupid fucking payoff line, like a rom-com does.
Yeah, if this was made now, somebody would have had to say, "Oh, I can't cry. It's a sign of weakness. I can't do it." And that's
even Twilight Zone would have been like, I never cry. I would never cry.
They would have had to drill it home even more.
And again, I love Twilight Zone, obviously, but sometimes the writing's a little bit obvious just to get to the audience for no reason. And Alfred Hitchcock is proving here, you don't need to. No. You don't need to.
Well, Hitchcock was pretty fucking smart, and he knew the audience was smart too, and that's why he never pulled that Hollywood game, and that's why he got in trouble so much, because like he was right. Don't tell him how to make a movie.
Is the fact that new Twilight Zone, even though they know people are watching the new Twilight Zone because they've watched the shit out of the old ones and love them to death, somehow still think their audience is so stupid that they have to spell everything out.
They have no
pictures and diagrams.
That's what it is. They think they're smarter than the audience, and they have no respect for the audience. I think that's the problem.
See, the fact that the three of us people, this old ass, what we said, 64 years old. This
65 years old.
65-year-old episode. Yeah. We knew the payoff. We knew the meaning of the title. The show never had to tell us. We figured it out.
Yeah. And if I can give my personal opinion on the new Twilight Zone, I don't think they think the audience is stupid. I think they want to go, we're more advanced than you are.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Pretentious.
We
know better than you do. Think like us. Watch this and learn from us. That's
2 + 2 equals 5. 2 + 2 equals 5.
Just the new season. Just the first season. The second season held back and was fairly decent for the most part.
Did Jordan Peele write all the first season episodes?
No, he wrote 0.
Oh, really? I thought that was his show.
No, he wrote the Nightmare 30,000 Feet episode, but that was already written by Richard Matheson. So
that's funny.
Richard Matheson's son was the Bill and Ted guy.
Yeah, I know that. He writes
that is weird.
Yeah, he does some stuff.
That is bizarre. Thinking of the difference there, because Richard Matheson is one of my favorite writers. I love a lot of his movies.
Yeah,
like Stir of Echoes is great. What Dreams May Come is great. Dick's gone. Dick doesn't care.
Stir of Echoes could have been a decent Twilight Zone or episode of a show. I feel like they probably could have maybe told that story in maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Well, that's on our list for this. I can't see it on this shot, but over here there's a 80s, 2000s night gallery bingo hopper thing, and I have movies on there as well. And first one I'm going to choose is Stir of Echoes.
Fair enough.
What the fuck am I looking at? I Am Legend Nights.
Hell House.
What's Hell House?
This is first edition too.
Wait for me to get a headphone.
I found out at a thrift store for $1 the first edition of this.
Is it a graphic novel?
I think you have the green screen part of your thing turned on.
Yeah, it is. It's on.
Yeah, he does.
Isn't that weird? That's crazy.
What image does he have chosen? He's someone else. Some other guy. It's like when Adam used to hold up his water bottle. I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah, this one would have went crazy. See how green this fucker is?
Whoa!
Yeah, I couldn't fit the green screen in the back of the RV. So
yeah. So I recommend watching this episode. I guess we'll end on this. I recommend watching it. The reason I started this podcast, the reason I was so inclined to do a different show, and why I let Adam talk me into doing like a different show than Tales from the Crypt, is there's one episode I have in my mind since childhood, and I don't want to give away what it is because I want to be surprised if we ever watch it. So I don't want to tell you guys what it is, but I'm hoping one day we're sitting here, could be 30 years from now, because it feels like it will be. When I'm watching, I go, "That's it," and then I die, and I'm fine with that. But I want to watch that episode, and I think it might be an Alfred Hitchcock Presents episode. I just don't know, and I don't want to look too far into it because I don't want to be caught off guard now that we're doing this. I don't want to know ahead of time, I should say.
Okay.
I want to be surprised.
Huh.
It's not like when I was looking for that movie from childhood, Dick. You remember it? And it would ended up being House on Tombstone Hill or
Okay.
House.
Oh,
and I bought that VHS and we watched it and we're like, oh, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
I covered that in B Movie Battle. It's dog shit. That's behind me too, right here. Yeah.
Well, I figured out there's a reminds me of the time I was trying to figure out a horror movie, and I ended up realizing I had seen it before, and it was technically it's House 3, but with Lance Hendrickson and that character actor who's in everything, and he was in Blade Runner, he was in Tango and Cash. Oh fuck! Why can't I remember these guys' names anymore?
Oh, is it the? I know who you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's he's good.
Let me tell you about my mother.
Yeah,
Leon.
Leon. Well, it's a turtle. What's a turtle? What's that?
You know what the funniest movie that guy was in is remember that movie Enemy Mine? He's joy in that fucking movie.
Brian James.
Oh, Brian is the guy with the mullet.
Brian James.
The guy with the mullet and the bald. He's kind of bald right here.
Yes. Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
He was in died in 1999. He was in 173 productions.
Holy fuck.
Is he alive?
No, he died in 1999.
Oh, that's what you said.
At age 54. How sad is that?
I thought you said he was in 1999.
No.
Okay.
He might have been.
Space, 1999.
He was in a grave in 1999.
Mark Landau. In the show we reviewed last night.
He's in Striking Distance. Remember that wonderful Bruce Willis movie about boats?
Striking Distance with who's in that movie with him?
Who's the number one cop?
Who's the female in that?
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Okay, not what I was thinking.
And the guy that was the killer is the guy that was a killer in real life who shot his girlfriend with a shotgun in the bathroom. He was on that awful show about the woman that was the newscaster.
Beretta.
Murphy Brown. Oh. Murphy Beretta. That's a great show.
Yeah. TV was really bad in the 80s, man. It was really
Murphy Brown came back and nobody noticed.
Nobody gave a shit.
There were some good movies in the 80s, but the TV shows were
not even candidates cared.
But fuck, you know how much money they made in the 80s off of TV?
Oh God, it was so bad though.
Who cares? Royalties. Ted Danson is still soaking in the money.
They made so much money in the 80s. It's like that's why they deserve everything bad to happen now.
The best thing that was on TV in the 80s was V, the series. That was awesome. Not the extended series, just that mini series was fun.
Miniseries good.
When I told Frank what we're doing on this show now with the anthology, he goes, "Are you doing V?" I go, "I don't. Is that an anthology?"
Not really an anthology. No, I wish to God we were doing V. What you need to do is start a separate show for just old shows.
Well, I was thinking because some episodes of shows like are kind of this character goes to a whole new situation every week, like Incredible Hulk, something like that. And I was like, that's not really anthology.
No,
I have the Hitchhiker on the list. I'm including that, but
it really needs to be a different story every week, not just a different episode of the same.
Exactly. Like I have Hitchhiker and High Maintenance.
I love the Incredible Hulk, but the Incredible Hulk did the same thing that fucking Kung Fu did. It's like he goes to a different town, he stays there as long as he can. Something gets fucked up, and he's got to go because somebody's following him. It's the same shtick.
Yeah.
Fugitive did the same thing.
There's a lot of those shows, but I did include the Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
But because every episode feels so different, and it doesn't Incredible Hulk is about that character being in the situation. Hitchhiker is not like that. It's just this character shows up and it's about that story. No. So I'm kind of curious. So without further ado, shall we?
Well, would Quantum Leap be counted as an anthology series since every episode's different?
No.
No, because it's about the basic premise of him trying to get back to his home.
Right. If to be an anthology series, it needs to be literally every week is something completely different. Different characters, different cast, different story.
Oh my God, no!
Look how many are on there, and can you see my board?
Red Letter Media calls this the wheel of the worst.
How few are on mine?
Look at that.
This version.
This is like this is painful to look at.
Without further ado,
Spin it!
Adam, tell me when to stop sorting.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. It hasn't sorted anything yet.
Wheel of morality. Turn.
Hold on. Let me. Why is it not sorting? Let's try this again. Maybe
every season sorting.
Oh, so it's not sorting. Oh, shuffle. Sorry. Shuffle. Adam, tell me when.
I can't see. Do I want to see? No, you're shuffling. Okay. When?
Dick, tell me when to hit the...
Stop!
Fuck, I'm nervous. This is my choice. Oh, I don't want to watch. Tales of the Crypt.
God damn it! Fuck!
That's okay. You can pick the John Frankenheimer episode.
We killed him. We killed Phoenix.
You can pick.
I can pick the Frankenheimer one.
You can do the Frankenheimer.
Do your Frankenheimer one. At least pick one that doesn't suck, please.
Wow. Wow.
We've been shitting on that series this entire episode, and literally that's the one that comes up randomly.
So I can't remember which one's called Frank. I think it's Maniac at Large from
season
7.
Yeah, it's Maniac at Large.
So I'm going to choose that for next week.
Okay.
The week after that, do you guys, because there's only 4 people on the show. Next week after that, for episode 29, we have a blank spot. So do you guys want to do breakdown for 1985? Just compare it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
That'd be fun.
We'll have once every 5 episodes. So it's basically going to be Jansen, Adam, me. Dick's choosing the Tales from the Crypt ones for a little bit. So you'll get a slot in here soon. But
right. Yeah.
So in the meantime, we'll just do the 80s for episode 29. Dick's going to choose a Tales from the Crypt from episode 30. From his top 10 list, he's going to choose an episode. So we're going to have 2 out of 3 of the next episodes are going to be Tales from the Crypt, unfortunately.
And they were, but this was included in my top 10 though, was the John Frankenheimer one. So I think we're going to be okay.
Okay, so next week is going to be Maniac at Large, John Frankenheimer episode. I think it's 705, something like that, of Tales from the Crypt. I can look right now. I still have it loaded. Let's find out. Maniac at Large. No, it's not season 7. Season 6. I don't know when it is. Doesn't fucking matter. I won't take any more airtime. But next week, Tales from the Crypt, John Frankenheimer directed, wherever that is. Week after that, 85 version of Alfred Hitchcock Presents Breakdown, because I am curious now.
Yeah.
And then the week after that is going to be whatever Dick chooses for his top 10 list.
I put effort into it, so it should be subpar at best.
Now, one thing we have discovered on doing this show is that sometimes remaking an old episode is not necessarily a bad thing. Like you guys like some remakes, yeah.
Not always.
Not always.
I feel like
this
one's going to be. Because there are a lot of original Alfred Hitchcock Presents from 55 that they did on the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. They're just expanded versions. So, yeah, eventually we're gonna see all this shit. So we'll find out.
Yeah.
I wish I would have chosen a show I haven't seen before, because most of these shows on my list I have not seen before. But no, of course I drew Tales from the Crypt. This thing fucking hates me. Even this is cursed.
But at least it's the Frankenheimer one, so that's some solace you can take in that.
You can fillate Frankenheimer all night.
You know how pissed Jansen's going to be when I tell him we chose Tales from the Crypt?
I want to see his face. Don't tell him till he's on the show.
You know what? I'll keep it a secret just for that.
Yeah, don't say anything.
For that setup, I will keep it completely quiet.
I want to be there live when he sees it.
You know he's not going to watch this episode, so he'll have no fucking clue. You got a surprise in store for you, Jansen.
Damn it.
Oh, he's going to be so upset.
Yeah.
So, I don't blame him. But
you let him down.
LIWstudios.com for me, LIW Anthology Pod on Twitter for this show, LIW Studios on Twitter as well. Adam.
RaidersLostFlix.com for me, Raiders_OTLF on Twitter, and Raiders Lost Flicks on YouTube for bad movie reviews and discussions.
I got Pierce Farms Media on Facebook. It's a slow-growing page of all my shit. It has links to old podcasts and how to get the books and all that shit.
Yeah,
I think it's called that.
Leo Red, R.I.P. Phoenix. I don't know. It was about when I chose Tales from the Crypt. That's probably why. Leo Red, is that why you said R.I.P.?
I think you're going to be okay. I think Frankenheimer's going to take you over the finish line.
Well, here's the thing. I know it's going to suck. I know
he's going to come in your ear.
Suck. That's going to piss me off worse.
Because you have to say that John Frankenheimer made something that sucks.
He made so much shit that sucks. I can say that now. He made Reindeer Games. He made The Prophecy.
He made the Island of Dr. Moreau.
He showed up to the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, he showed up. That was him just finishing what was there.
That movie really was cursed.
That's like saying this guy was a shitty driver.
Yeah,
it was really the people in the way. This was Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando blocking the production. They were his breakdown. And
did you ever see that documentary about that movie?
Yeah,
Lost Souls. Yeah, that's great. And that fucking poor actor who's like, this was his biggest job of his career, and he got sidelined for that little fucking freak show that's a Brando loved, the little midget monster thing.
I watched that documentary and I loved it. And then I loved it so much I had to go back and buy the movie so I could watch it.
Yeah, I gotta buy it. It's great.
And then I watched the Heart of Darkness documentary you guys were talking about.
Yes.
That was some good shit.
Watch that.
That's some good shit.
That's
actually,
awesome.
Surprisingly, that documentary made Francis Ford Coppola look a little more hopeless than I expected it to. Like the guy was completely out of control. He made a good movie for being under those conditions.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm fucking amazed that the movie came out the way it did.
It's a masterpiece.
I wouldn't say surprisingly made a good movie. I'd say he made a masterpiece.
He did. I love that movie to death. And just seeing what he had to work with and the way he was breaking down and losing control.
Yeah.
The fact that he made and strung all that together the way he did is a marvel beyond my fucking wildness.
But you kind of got to go, oh, he never made another good movie after that.
I don't care. Because honestly,
I'll take that back. I do personally like Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I do feel like it was miscast, and I blame the studio for that, not Coppola.
Yes, but he also made 4 masterpieces in his life, and then
in the 70s,
he never had to prove himself again after.
Yeah. It was like all the 70s. Okay, this is his fucking career in the 70s. He writes and gets the Oscar for Patton. He directs The Godfather, Godfather 2, The Conversation, fucking Apocalypse Now. And he produces American Graffiti.
What was most fun about that is the way they interview the actors. And the actors kind of talk about the events as if they were in a prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they actually went through Vietnam. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to talk, especially the guy that played Lance. He's just like, you could tell that movie clearly bothered him.
Well, no, because he was a fucking stoner. He couldn't remember the movie. He was so high.
He probably was like the highest one on the fucking.
He really did take acid.
Oh,
yeah.
What happened to the acid? I took it.
He did one movie in the 80s I liked, and that's what's her name?
Cotton Club.
No, Cotton Club is bad. Peggy Sue Got Married is decent.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Peggy Sue Got Married. Tucker's not any good. Jack is not any good.
That's bad. I don't mind Rainmaker.
Rumblefish is good for performances, but the movie sucks.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke isn't a And then he made movies with Nick Cage, his nephew, and that was kind of a mistake, honestly.
That's all he did, though, was the one movie, right?
No, he did Rumblefish, Cotton Club,
Oh,
Peggy Got Married.
no, but with Nick Cage.
All three of those movies have
Oh,
Nick
there
Cage.
he's in that.
Nick Cage plays Richard
think
Gere's
he knows
brother
his-
at Cotton Club who gets shot in a phone booth. He plays
Hmm.
Peggy Sue's husband.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
He has that stupid accent, like the stupid accent.
Oh yeah.
Rumblefish, he plays like Matt Dillon's friend.
Okay. Wow.
Anyway, check out Nick Cage Cast. Let's get out of here, guys. I'm looking forward to next week, only because it's Frankenheimer, even though I'm saying this now, will hate the episode. I'm saying that now.
Okay, we'll get out of the way.
Out of the way. I will hate it. I know that. It's in Richard's top 10, and I still will hate it.
We're going to just watch you squirm in anguish, and you'll probably be really shit-faced for that episode.
I've watched so many movies of Frankenheimer where I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Like he was hired at the last second to direct, sort of thing, and I'm like, so I'm fine.
I think all of us have favorite directors though that have bad movies. Not everything that Carpenter made was fucking gold. He made some shit,
right.
you know.
He made a lot of shit.
There's only a few good directors, and Sergio Leone is probably the number one.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a bad movie he directed. Maybe one of the Hercules movies in his early career. I don't know.
Lots of Roads.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Extremely lucky man. He hasn't had it dug yet.
I didn't care for Inglourious Bastards.
I loved it.
Same.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I like Christoph
I
Waltz.
had to
That's
see
it.
that guy make a movie where I'm like, wow, really? Quentin Tarantino? What the fuck were you thinking? I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting.
There's not a Christopher Nolan movie I don't like.
Yeah, I say Chris Nolan's my favorite.
I haven't seen Tenet yet, but
I like Tenet. Tenet was really good. I enjoyed it.
The Prestige is so vastly underrated.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. Anyway, let's get out of here. Until next time, in the meantime, I'm Phoenix West.
I'm Adam Wilcox.
Dick cock dicket.
So
Mystery.
long, Dick Talk Dicket. Oh, and Citizens. Do. We need an exit song like Twilight Zone. This is weird.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
just some fanfare music because your intro was pretty lit. I liked it.
There is. I'll just play that part.
That's good. So fucking artsy.
I'm going to end the broadcast this week.